showing you exactly how much staffing costs you to compare it with local staffing to various VA services. Hello, this is Matthew Tringali with RTM Plus and homevault Academy coming to you live, showing you exactly how much staffing costs you to compare it with local staffing to various VA services. So we're gonna do a little whiteboard video here today. So the first thing we're gonna look at here is local staffing. Let me pull my calculator out. We're gonna do a little math. So depending on, and we're gonna just think of a general admin position at your company. Okay, so if this was somebody local, it might be somebody who sits at your front desk. They handle maybe walk-in traffic and they do some data entry, answer the phones, that type of thing. So probably this is going to be, if you hire locally, a minimum wage-ish person. That could vary depending on where you are in the country. The overall trend, and it wouldn't be surprising here if we end up with a national $15 an hour minimum wage. We'll see, who knows, but we got to come up with something here. I mean, in some markets maybe this is 10 bucks an hour, some markets maybe it's 15 or 20, but probably this is somewhere in the like $12 to $18 an hour range. Okay, probably something like that. Okay. So let's just do a little math. Oh, by the way, so next thing we're going to look at here is overhead. What we mean by overhead is this is how much you're paying them per hour. But when you hire locally, of course, there's a lot of other stuff that goes into that. You have payroll tax and workers' comp insurance, maybe other insurance. There's a lot of other overhead. I'm not going to break down all of the potential overhead, but I did some research on this, and it varies how you want to factor this in. The quick and dirty rule of thumb that like the SBA gives out, and I saw MIT has a study on this as well, is you generally should assume it's going to be at least 25 to 40%. There are other numbers that I've seen from other accounting services that say the real number after you factor in kind of training and everything else could be more like 60 to 80% staff turnover training, 60 to 80%. Could be really high. What that means is if you're paying 10 bucks an hour here, then if this number is 40%, then you got another $4 an hour here. Or if it's 80%, it's another $8 an hour here. So, but because there's such a wide range, I'm just going to go with the SBA's recommendation and assume that this will be about 40%. Okay. So now let's do a quick little math here. So I'm just going to take $15 an hour as kind of my average, and maybe that'll end up being the minimum wage anyway. We'll see. So we'll do 15 times, add the 40%. Times a year's worth of wages. Okay, so this number ends up being annualized $44,000. Just to estimate here, or round it off rather. $44,000. Now, and I want you to bear in mind, this is for what we considered are like basically minimum wage, entry level, low skill, no experience type person coming in. $44,000 a year. All right. Now, one of the solutions you have here is you can do full-time VA staffing. This is typically going to be about $9 to $12 per hour, just kind of depending on what you get. $9 to $12 per hour. So I'm just going to pick $10 an hour here as kind of the low end of the median, something like that's probably about 10. The overhead here, and the reason why I went with the lower overhead here, 40%, if we went with the 80%, that might include some of the same numbers that you might also have, like when you think of paid time off or training time or staff turnover, things like that. Those might be similar. So I just went with the 40% here to really try to capture the things that would only apply to a U.S. local person. So this is going to be 0%. So there's no extra overhead here. So what will this person be per year? We're looking at, so we're looking at about $21,000. So already, right out of the gate, if you go with full-time VA staffing, you've cut your staffing price by even less than half. You have less than half as your new cost. $21,000 versus $44,000, saving over $20,000 a year per staff member. Amazing. All right. Now, part-time VA staffing now, because I talked to a lot of folks who are like, I just don't know how to keep somebody busy full-time. Maybe you only want them 20 hours a week. Okay, fine. So we're going to go with the same thing here. 9 to 12 per hour. Still have 0% here. And then again, if we're going to 20 hours a week versus 40 hours a week, this number gets cut in half. So now we're looking at more like, well, we'll call it $11,000. Go with round numbers here. $11,000. Okay, great. $11,000. Now it's part-time, so it's not quite apples to apples, but I wanted to put that up here just to have something else to compare. Now, the other option you have is you could direct hire a remote team member. This is what we do at RTM Plus. We actually take care of all of the upfront heavy lifting, and then we hand them off to you, and you have a direct hire remote team member. So this same person that here might cost 12 to 18, here might cost 9 to 12, when you direct hire, it's going to be more like 4 to 6. All right, so $4 to $6 per hour. Okay. Again, 0% overhead. And so I'll just take $5 an hour as our middle number here. And we're going to get, this number is now going to be $10,000. All right. So hire somebody for $44,000 to come sit in your office with you. That's one option. Hire somebody for $21,000 through a staffing agency. You get some extra support from the staffing agency. If you like that extra support, that's great. Still saved a ton of money. You can go part-time, and then it's only cost you $11,000. You can go full-time direct hire. It's actually still cheaper than the half-time VA staffing agency. So like a lot of folks come to me, they're like, wow, I can't do 20 hours a week. I'm like, trust me, you can keep busy. Here's one thing I know about you if you're watching this video, is you have about 10 ideas a day that you can't do anything with because you don't have the time to do anything with them. So if you could free up half of your time extra here on this direct hire, now you can start implementing new ideas. Those new ideas is what's going to exponentially grow the wealth of your business. So big time savings here, $10,000 versus $44,000. One last point. Here, this person again, it's not even apples to apples. It's actually even better than the money says, because this person here is your low skill, no previous experience, minimum wage person that's costing you this much money, versus this person here that's $4 to $6 per hour. This is actually a middle income. This is much better than your entry level, no skill. Tons of people that we hire over here have property management experience, a wealth of property management experience. All of the people that we hire here have at least a college degree. Many of them have master's degrees. Some of them have even had PhDs. We've hired people over here who are industrial engineers, civil engineers, nurses, teachers. I mean, high skilled people here. So those same high skilled people, college educated, engineer type people with potentially a master's degree, now you go over here and this could be double or triple this price. This person is going to be like at least 90 grand a year that it'll cost you. I mean, it's just a huge, huge savings. All right, that's the money. Hope this was helpful.